Breastfeeding is one thing that is basic in the life of any child because as soon as a child is born, the doctors advises the woman, whether she's strong or not, to let the baby start sucking the breast immediately. Reasons: there are so many health benefits to a child giving breast milk. And while we were much younger, we know that most women or mothers breastfeed their children, some to the age of 2 years before they wean the child. But as time goes on, change, they say, is one thing that is permanent. A lot of young mothers today they're no longer interested in breastfeeding their children as much as necessary. And on this year's 2023 Breastfeeding Week, we have some guests in the studio to talk about enabling breastfeeding, making a difference for working parents. In the studio, I have with me this morning Dr. Ngozi Okoye. Dr. Ngozi Okoye is the registered dietitian, nutritionist, Nnamdi Azikiwe University Teaching Hospital, Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu University Teaching Hospital, Oka. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, okay, Teaching Hospital Nnewi. There's a mix-up here. Okay, you're from Nnamdi Azikiwe University Teaching Hospital, Nnewi. Thank you so much for being here.
Welcome. Good morning.
All right, we also have Nonyerem Nebe. Yes. Nonyerem Nebe is a registered dietitian, nutritionist, Odumegwu Ojukwu University Teaching Hospital, Oka. Thank you so much, Nebe, for being here.
Good morning, viewers. Thank you for having me.
All right, you're welcome.
Thank you.
All right, now let me begin with you, Dr. Ngozi Okoye. When we talk about breastfeeding and the way our doctors will tell us in the hospital, as soon as you give birth, to start, whether you're strong or you're not, they may even bring the child to your own bed and ask you to start breastfeeding immediately. What do you think, they are doing when they say that?
Okay, thank you. Let me start off by saying, at least let us know what is breastfeeding. Breastfeeding is feeding the baby on human milk. And it's only human that is meant to breastfeed his or her mother's milk. So breastfeeding is very unique. It's an ideal milk for the infant. And it has so many advantages. Just as it's asked, World Health Organization and the UNICEF in 1990, they advised mothers to breastfeed their babies immediately these babies are born. This was in the conference they had in 1990. They found out that most mothers don't breastfeed their babies again. And breastfeeding, as I said, is very unique. It's an ideal milk for the baby or ideal food for the baby. It has some enormous benefits or numerous benefits for the baby, for the mother, for the family, and all whatnot. So it conveys immunity. It is even good to give baby so many nutrients. Nutrients are the substances you get in food. So doctors or midwives or dietitians will advise this mother, it's better you feed this baby, at least exclusively for the first 6 months of life, before you now go over to what we call complementary feeding. And even if the mother is not healthy or if the mother is not strong, there's something you can say, the midwife can help the mother to express the breast. When the mother expresses the milk from the baby, from the mother, it will now be fed to the baby till the mother now gains strength to allow the baby to latch on her breast. Thank you.
All right. Now, Nebe, let me come to you. There is this thing about the very first breast milk that comes from the mother. What's the significance? Because they say, I don't know, the color is somehow, I've heard about it. Could you let us know? And there's a name they call it. What's the significance about that very first breast that a baby sucks from the mother?
Okay, so that first breast milk is called the colostrum. And it has so many benefits. It contains immunoglobulin A that is very important for the support of the child's immunity. You know that the child comes out from a safe environment and then comes into an environment that we have, you know, diseases around. But once the child is being fed that first breast milk, it helps it helps the child's immunity. In fact, we call it the first immunization that you give that child. So it's very important. That's why we encourage mothers that once the child is given birth to, the child should be put to breast. In fact, most times before the child comes, the breast milk had already started coming out, as long as the mother prepares the breast for breastfeeding.
Okay, now, Mrs. Okoye, I don't know, when we talk about breastfeeding and the 21st century mothers, you know, how would you differentiate the 21st century mothers with mothers of the 80s and 90s, when a child will be fed from day 1 to 2 years, some people to 3 years before weaning the child?
Okay, thank you. I will say, actually, during the 1980s, I know mothers were still devoted in breastfeeding their babies. They were still, when you compare to the mothers of these days. At least, I would say that most of them, let us compare those of them that are not working in the village, and they don't have that money to be buying all these breast milk substitutes. So you see them carrying their baby even on their back, go to work, come back, feed their babies. But these present days, you now see that most mothers, not all the mothers, most mothers have caregivers and everybody is rushing to work or one thing or the other. They don't usually do that. Even expressing breast milk, they found it difficult. So most of them, even those of them that are not literate, that are not working class mothers, you see most of them, that's the experience, observation I made in the clinic that I'm saying now. Most of them, maybe when they breastfeed this baby for 1 month, they'll now put the baby off the milk, breast milk, and place the baby on complementary feed. Maybe they said they start PAP. And say, this thing has adverse effects on the baby. Because, you know, some of these, because it's from researches they made, they now encourage the mothers to be at least feeding this baby exclusively on breast milk for 6 months. Unless when the baby has a voracious appetite, you can ask, okay, let them start at 5 months. Reason is this.
They don't completely stop now.
Sorry?
They add something when the baby eats much, like what you're saying. The mothers don't stop breastfeeding, but they could add some other things to the breastfeeding.
That is what maybe breast milk substitutes. You see what?
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm saying why the word said encourage them.
Okay.
Yes. So then I say, if this baby has a voracious appetite, the mother can just manage as much as she can to breastfeed up to 5 months of age. But some of the mothers may not. Some of them might say, maybe they'll not breastfeed baby for 1 month and start putting this complement, either pap and adult milk. And now see this baby, the baby becomes malnourished. And the brain is not yet developed. That is what I said. Is research the words that UNICEF made. They now found out that there are certain times in the developmental stages of this baby that you see that when baby has gotten up to 4 to 5 months, 5 months of age, there's what you call amylase. Is an enzyme that helps to break down carbohydrate. But beyond that age, baby has not developed that, and the kidneys are yet immature. So to combat certain things, they might not overload the kidney. That is why some of them, maybe as they are getting older, they begin to have kidney problem and all whatnot. So that is it. So we're encouraging mother to move along with the word that I initially suggested. I know it's not easy for some mothers. It's not easy, you know. And for you to breastfeed, mother has to prepare themselves at least eating very well.
It's not easy, but it's a task that must be done, you know.
Certainly.
Okay, now let's see. You know, growing up, there's this adage by the Igbos that when a child behaves in a particular way, they will say, and there's a way that a child will behave, they will say, You know, do you really believe that, you know, or is it true, you know, that maybe a child that is behaving abnormal, something, or in a way that is not normal, people will say that, nah, can breast really make someone behave well or behave abnormal?
Yes, certainly. I must say it's not just breast milk, but proper nutrition. So, you know, nutrition has everything to do with brain development of the child. And when you see us encourage mothers to breastfeed their children exclusively for the first 6 months of life, is because there are so many benefits, which includes the brain development of the child. That is one of the important benefits that the breast milk gives to the child. So to link it to whether there's a child who takes breast milk very well, you see that the child performs very well. The IQ is, you know, high compared to those who didn't take breast milk. And most times you see that anybody who does not take breast milk, or maybe take breast milk as long as expected, we don't now know what this mother, you understand that this mother must have done improper nutrition for this child, because they don't know what they are giving if they don't give that breast milk. Breast milk is one thing that is, you know, it's free. It's also, you know, the mother can actually breastfeed anywhere, and nobody has to prepare breast milk. The person doesn't have to go to market to get it. So it's something that they can give, and then the child can get all the benefits that is required for that age, for that child. So it's important that they now breastfeed so that they can get that benefit, which includes brain development for the child.
Okay, now, Mrs. Ngozi, I don't know, what happened to a child that maybe the mother gives birth and dies, you know, during childbirth? You know, what will happen to such a child when we know that breastfeeding is a proper requisite for any child that is born? So what happened to any child that unfortunately the mother dies while giving birth to?
Thank you. If there's such a case, what will happen is this: if the mother has a sister, a relation, or if the mother of that grandmother of the baby is still alive, they will now screen this woman to make sure that the woman doesn't have something like HIV, any transferable disease. So if that is ruled out, the baby can now be put to the breast. You know, there's a way nature does its own, and God has his own way doing things. So when baby is put to the breast, what happened that suckling, we get send message to the brain, the anterior pituitary lobe, and tell them that this baby, in spite of the woman was not pregnant, and she wasn't the person that carried this baby in utero. So what will happen is that when this baby starts suckling, the signal goes to the brain. Something is happening. Somebody is sucking. What do you do? So when the signal gets to the brain, what happens that the brain says, okay, listen, breast, listen. Something is coming up. The brain will also act on the brain, releases oxytocin. The oxytocin will then go to the breast and try to contract the glandular cells. When it contracts, the next thing is that there will be milk flow. But it's not that it's not something that happens spontaneously like that. Okay. It will take some time before it does that. It happens like that.
In a case where can milk do the magic? In a case where we don't get somebody like that, can milk do the magic?
Milk can be provided.
A particular milk?
No, you consider the economic status of the family. Okay. You consider the economic status. If the family is well-to-do, they can go and buy milk. That's breast milk substitutes.
Okay.
Infant formula.
For age.
For age. Because like so many of these companies have them. So many companies that are producing this manufacturing infant formula. They have from 0 to 12 months of age, 1 to and all whatnot. So many of them.
Okay.
And when they now give in to the baby, the instruction will be given, because you know, just as he said, breast milk is free from any pathogen. It's free from any bacteria. And when baby is sucking, the baby that's purely unexclusive, you hardly see this baby having infection or having diarrhea. Okay. Do you understand me? or even having constipation. That is why I said that breastfeeding has so many benefits. It confers to the baby, confers to the family, and all whatnot. So if the substitute is given, there will, mothers or whomever, family members will be educated on how to maintain hygiene so that they didn't put this baby at risk.
Okay. Now, I don't know. There are some cases where you will hear some mothers say that the child refused to suck breast. And there's one day Igbos will tell you na line or something, I don't know. And something like that. In situations like this, what happens?
Okay, one thing is, those people that say that alabalino, did they test it and see that it was actually bitter? So anyway, there's no such thing. The truth is, just like I said earlier, even when a woman is pregnant, the woman should start preparing the breast for breast milk production, so that we don't have situations like this baby coming and then they say that the breast wasn't flowing, the breast milk wasn't flowing. So if you prepare the breast for breast milk production, it flows once the baby has come. So most times we advise women to make sure that they wash the nipple area and the areola as well with flannel, okay? And also massage it with Vaseline. Okay, so that is part of helping breast milk production. So another thing is, it's not about, there's no such thing as breast milk going sour. So they should, most times I see that it's a reason to, you know, leave their responsibility, you know.
But actually, I've seen people say that their child refuses to suck. Or some will suck like 2 weeks and stop.
Okay, another thing is proper positioning. That's putting that child to breast. Sometimes they don't do it the proper way. So it's important that that mother, first of all, positions herself in such a way that she's comfortable, so that she doesn't also have back pain as a result of breastfeeding. And then making sure that that child is sucking on not just the nipple, because if the child is sucking on just the nipple, it could also cause sore nipples and cracked nipples as well. But if the child is sucking on part of the areola as well, it will help this child suck properly, because if the child is sucking on just the nipple, it could also help, it could also make the child just suck in air, not just the breast milk, but the child is sucking in air in such a way that it's more stressful, and then the child gets full faster because the air goes in, not just milk as well. But if the child is sucking on part of the areola, it will also help the child get more breast milk, because the breast milk comes in both foremilk and the hind milk. So if the child gets just the foremilk, that is the water, part, the child hasn't gotten the fatty part that is supposed to help the child to feel full. Before you know it, that child is also hungry again and crying for more. So, you know, psychologically, all these things will, at the end of the day, make this child feel, I'm not getting enough. The mother also feels that way. So once they are not properly breastfeeding, it can now cause that situation where that mother will look for other substitutes, you know, and then when you start giving that child so much, you increase that child's appetite over time. And then it feels that breast milk is not just enough. And then a mother will also feel that I've not given this child this much. Before you know it, the child doesn't even want the breast milk again, because you've started introducing other things.
All right.
Addition to that, you consider the state of the breast, because some of them do have inverted nipples. Okay. Their nipples are not out. Okay. Some of them might have too long nipples, and it's considered the condition of the baby. So these are all you put into consideration alongside with positioning, she said. Because have different positions. You have like somebody that went on cesarean section, there's position she has to be in breastfeeding this baby. If you choose to lie down, it's okay. If you choose to form what they call cradle, cross cradle, in form of forming a ball with your hand and place the baby, it's up to the person. Okay. If you feel to lie down, it's up to the person. So you consider the condition of the breast and state of the baby.
All right, the program is Good Morning Anambra, the 2023 Breastfeeding Week. which we are looking at this morning. And in the studio, I still have Dr. Ngozi Okoye and Nonyere Nebe talking about the enabling breastfeeding, making a difference for working parents. We are going to take a short break here. When we return, we are going to really look at the need to breastfeed our children and, of course, what the 2023 Breastfeeding Week holds for the people of Anambra State. Let's feel the pulse of the masses. We'll be right back in a jiffy.
Our time, Mrs. Frances Chukwunonyelum Soludo, as she clocks 53 years. The management and staff of Anambra Broadcasting Service heartily felicitates with the wife of the governor of Anambra State, Mrs. Frances Chukwunonyelum Soludo, as she clocks 53 years on 31st July 2023. Thank God for the gift of such a beautiful soul like you as a worthy partner to complement your heartthrob. Professor Charles Chukwuma Soludo Odenibo Agwata has he strives towards developing Anambra State to an enviable height. You have proved the fact that behind every successful man must be a good, focused and understanding woman. You are such an Amazon of compassion, full of milk of human kindness, empathy and love for the less privileged. Indeed, you are a special breed, team player, bridge builder, a beautiful soul and a blessing to humanity. We pray God to consolidate the good health you now enjoy, as well as guide, protect and keep you in excellent spirit and longevity. Congratulations and happy birthday, Mama Anambra. Mirigulegu, Mrs. Frances Chukwunonyelum Soludo.
Great news for Anambra Broadcasting Service ABS audience. You can now watch ABS television through any of these ways.
Buy a terrestrial antenna and connect to your television. Search ABS Channel 24 Oka or ABS Channel 27 Onitsha. Install StarTimes cable decoder and search ABS Channel 113. Install Metro Digital cable decoder and search ABS Channel 29.
Watch ABS TV on your smart TV or smartphone by downloading Anambra Broadcasting Service app on Google Play Store. Also watch via ABS Facebook page at ABS Radio Television and ABS YouTube page at ABS Television Oka.
ABS TV is now also on satellite. You can watch us from anywhere in Nigeria and other African countries. Simply install ViewSat TV decoder or any other free-to-air decoder and tune into channel 0031.
Whichever option you choose, stay abreast of breaking news, documentaries, children's shows, talk shows, comedy, sports, movies, and lots more on your darling TV station.
For adverts and program sponsorship, contact 0803 388 8526 or 0806 883 9902. ABS, Heartbeat of the East.
Radio, welcome back to the studios of Good Morning Anambra Show, talking the 2023 Breastfeeding Week with the theme Enabling Breastfeeding, Making a Difference for Working Parents. In the studio, I have Dr. Ngozi Okoye and Nonyere Nebe. Apologies for our inability to bring you the views of the people on the street work today. And the First Lady of Anambra State rightly fits into what we are saying today, even as we wish her a happy birthday. Now, we have two Nonyelum in the studio, Nonyerem and Nonyelum, and the wife of the governor that is celebrating is also Nonyelum Mokoye. What a coincidence. All right. You know, before we went on break, I was actually saying that when we return, let's really stress on the need to breastfeed, especially for working mothers. That's our focus for today's discussion. Nonyerem.
Okay. So it's important that a mother breastfeeds her baby. We encourage mothers to exclusively breastfeed their children for the first 6 months of life before starting complementary feeding. Now, we know the economic situation of the country, and we can't, I think this is the best time for one to take advantage of, you know, breastfeeding their children, especially exclusively for the first 6 months of life. Because if you check it, for you to get a tin of, you know, infant formula for age, you know how expensive it is. And then if you have to give that the way it's supposed to be given, that means in 5 days, one thing is gone. So how do you want to maintain it? So it's very important that one takes that advantage, not just because breast milk contains everything, all the nutrients that your child requires for that that first 6 months of life. The breast milk is the most perfect thing that you can give your child, because the child's gut is still developing and the child cannot, you know, readily absorb our staples, okay, until the child's gut had really developed. Another thing is most times the people that give infant formula, they don't even do the right constitution. So at the end of the day, the child can come down with diarrhea or even constipation. So, but the breast milk is easily absorbed by the child's gut. And then, just like I also said, it's very important for brain development of the child. Because at the end of the day, it's, you know, it's what you do as the foundation that will help the child even grow and live healthily. Because, for instance, breast milk has also, you know, science has also proven that it helps to reduce the risk of that child coming down with certain diet-related diseases later in life. So you can imagine what you give the breast milk that you give your child today could actually help that child later in life. So then again, about the brain development, it's important that you do that because it will help the IQ of your child. Your child will do well academically, which will help the nation, you know, at large. You can imagine having a child who is brainy and then becomes the governor. It will help, you know, the nation. It will help the state and the nation at large. So it's very important that one does that, not even because it's, you know, cheaper. It's the, you know, it's the cheapest thing that you can give your child because it's free. So, and then it's also safe because we're not even sure. Even the water that we drink that they call pure water, you're not even, it's not even pure. So, but breast milk, it has water that is pure. So if you feel that your child is even thirsty, you can also give breast milk. And then, just like I said, we encourage the mothers to continue to breastfeed their child. For the first 6 months of life, they should exclusively breastfeed before they will start complementary feeding, because after 6 months, breast milk alone is not enough, you know, to meet up the child's nutrient requirements. Then, but we encourage, WHO encourages them to continue to breastfeed the child 2 years and beyond. But after 6 months, exclusive breastfeeding.
Supplement with some other things.
Exactly, complementary feeding.
Now we've had arguments of women that say that I can't just be giving only breasts. And the health practitioners will tell them that breast contains enough water. And this argument has continued, even to the extent that they are advised to, you know, press the breast milk out and keep it for some time. They will see that the breast milk will settle down while the water is up. And so many people are still making argument. If you will, you know, clarify this, and of course, how would a mother feed to be able to breastfeed effectively?
Thank you. You know, before something is brought out for national consumption or everybody's consumption, there must be an evidence-based. I still remember during our own time, it's not that breast milk was not there. It was there. But the only thing, we didn't have that knowledge. We breastfeed our baby and still give water. Then, when these people have done research, they're not encouraged. This is reason you should not be giving breast milk alongside with water. But most of these young women, that reproductive women, age women agree on that. But the only problem is that most of the, maybe the grandmother of the child might come and say, why don't you give your baby?
that it makes sense. Twice.
Apart from twice, that if the baby will have a strong guard or the baby will weaken when the baby grows up, because the baby is not fed on water. It was only on breast milk for that 4-6 months of life. But these people have researched on it and found this is the reason that we are encouraging you people to breastfeed this baby. Do you understand me? Then there's another question.
Yes, how would a woman, feed to be able to breastfeed effectively?
So for breast milk to flow effectively, the woman has to feed very well. And this...
some people will tell you to take stout, take palm wine and stuff like that. So that's why I asked that question.
Okay. I understand you. This woman has to feed very well. At least it has to start during the time she was pregnant. Do you understand me? So when this woman delivers, it differs in individuals. There are some people, just as she said, colostrum is there at 4 months of pregnancy, but it's not yet active. Because why is it not yet active? The woman has not, all the hormones that are taken part during pregnancy are not the hormones that take part during the time the woman is lactating. Do you understand? So when when the woman has given birth to the baby, their functions they've gone. The next thing that brain will now say, okay, prepare. The woman has delivered. This hormone should go and rest. Let other hormones come into play. We have something like oxytocin and prolactin, that the hormones that help for milk flow and milk ejection. Good. Now, this woman, some people will not tell you that when the woman delivers, you have to drink alcohol, stout, and those things doesn't help in any form. It doesn't help the breast milk. Nature has made it. It differs with individuals, as I said. There are people that when they deliver, nature has it that 2 to 3 days, breast milk starts to flow. The colostrum will now come out. So when this woman delivers, what the nurses do or the midwives do is that they will now tell the woman, please, because one thing I heard is that even when the woman delivers, while still on the couch there, the placenta has not been separated. The woman have to clean the breast and put the baby. But no, some men will say, how do you want me to feed my baby on a messy environment? So in order to avoid that, you do not separate the placenta, make the woman comfortable. Maybe when she's in a recovery room, we now do clean the breast and put the baby. That suckling helps facilitate the breast flow. So when this thing happens, maybe this will now come in 2-3 days after delivery. But the colostrum is the first one that comes, and the colostrum is better than other breast milk. It's better than other breast. That is why most women are saying, please don't remove the colostrum. Let the baby feed on that colostrum.
Can somebody actually remove that?
Certainly, some people do it. They express it out.
Really?
I'm thinking that some people say that it wishes milk or something of that nature. So but it's more nutritious than other milk, types of breast milk, because she had mentioned that you have fore milk and hind milk. Do you understand me? So they don't have to express that one out. They have to feed the baby on that. Then this woman, as she goes on feeding this baby, she has to be eating very well. We are mothers. When somebody is eating, she will be more hungry than when she's not breastfeeding. So when she eats all this nutritional diet food, you see the breast milk will be flowing. And if the baby is sucking regularly, the milk will be flowing. But if the baby is not sucking regularly, medicine will not be sent to the brain again. Maybe you have to stop. But if the baby is sucking regularly, the milk will be flowing. That is why most times you see this mother, maybe they go on some business, maybe they rush out of the house to born. They see their breast will be heavy. Some of them, the milk will be sucked. So we say, hey, my baby is crying, let me do whatever, and then rush back home. Do you understand me? It's why the mothers are also encouraged, when you are moving out, go out along with your baby. Unless whereby you now choose not to go, you express breast milk for the baby so that anybody in the house or at home will now feed baby on that milk.
Okay, now that brings us to the major discussion or major reason why we are here, making a difference for working parents. We know that some of our mothers these days work in banks that open as early as 7 a.m. Some will work till night and all whatnot. And you've talked about extracting milk to keep for somebody to feed the baby when you're not there. Now, Noyerem, can you help us here how best the working parents can actually manage breastfeeding their children to ensure that the children are breastfed effectively and efficiently?
Okay, thank you. So firstly, I mean, the government has also made it in such a way that it's possible, because a mother that has given birth is given 3 months, right? 3 months leave. And this should actually help that mother to be with the child. Okay, the mother doesn't have to go to work then. And I also hear we also have paternity leave in such a way that the father can also assist the,
nursing the baby.
Yes, at least helping the mother do some things, okay, so that the burden can be reduced and the mother can face the breastfeeding activity. Then another thing is expressing. That's in such a situation where the mother is not, present all the time, because some people, maybe they also have businesses that they are running, So if for any reason why you're not available, it's also important that you express the breast milk. It's very possible to express breast milk, but when you're doing that, you should make sure that whatever container that is the baby bottle or whatever that you're using to express, that you're going to put the milk is, hygienically,
okay,
put in place, because it's also important that in trying to breastfeed your child, you don't also introduce germs to your child. So,
and another important thing, the temperature the breast is when the baby sucks directly and when it is extracted, the difference.
Yes. So, you could express breast milk and put in the fridge for, if it's in the fridge, it can stay longer. It can stay up to 12 hours before you discard.
Okay.
That is, if it's after 12 hours, it's not advised that you give it to the child.
Okay.
Now, if you had put the breast milk in the fridge, when it's brought out, it's important that you put it in warm water in such a way that it comes back to the temperature, the body temperature before you give it to the child, because the child cannot take cold milk. Okay? Then again, if you don't have a fridge, you can also express and put it out. Okay, it could also be in a safe place, maybe in a flask or whatever. Then wherever you put it, you should make sure that it doesn't stay beyond 6 hours. Okay, so it's very possible that one still remains in the body temperature. That's the right temperature to feed the child. But it's safe as long as you must have made sure that whatever bottles that you're putting it in is hygienically, made ready. But it's something that we encourage mothers who are not always available to give your child milk, because you can't be there, and, you should also keep something for the people that are taking care of the child to feed the child, because if not, when you go out, you are not sure what they're giving them. But once you make the breast milk available,
another person takes it.
Nobody
sure
can
that
take
your
it.
baby was fed in your absence.
Exactly.
All right, now, Mrs. Okoye, the 2023 Breastfeeding Week, what are we expecting to see? Do you have any programs lined up for this year's Breastfeeding Week?
Certain that will be in the clinical areas. We just told the mother on the infant welfare clinic day. We are going to, they will come, we assemble them, then give them talk, remind them on the importance of breastfeeding again. They do some baby shows, like you take the nutritional status of the babies, ask mothers some questions, and whomever maybe we now choose who the first three people that win the assessment done. Then that is it. It's what we have in the plan we have in the clinic there.
Okay, and now, why do you think it's important to celebrate or have Breastfeeding Week?
Okay, so this World Breastfeeding Week has always been. It's been there to protect, promote, and to support breastfeeding, because it can be overemphasized. If we stop talking about it, you know, a lot of people will, you know, relax about it. Meanwhile, this is very, very important. So the reason why this date has been put is to ensure that we continue to support these mothers, because it's not easy. In as much as we say it like this, it's not easy. So we have to continue to talk about it so that we
and
can
also encourage the younger ones
exactly.
like you that their breast is not going to fall when they breastfeed the child. But actually, is that the reason breasts fall?
No.
Breast is going to fall whether you breastfeed or not.
It will fall whether you like it or not.
Exactly.
Whether
Okay.
you breastfeed or you didn't breastfeed.
Okay.
When it gets to that stage, it will surely fall.
Okay, at this point, we've had it all from the horse's mouth, and we encourage younger mothers to breastfeed their children. Very, very important. I'm a mother, and I breastfed my children. I don't think my breast has fallen. Okay, I would like to thank you so much, Nonyere Nebe, registered dietitian, nutritionist, Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu University Teaching Hospital, Oka. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, we also appreciate you in no small measure, Dr. Ngozi Okoye, registered dietitian, nutritionist, Nnamdi Azikiwe University Teaching Hospital, Nnewi. Thank you so much, ma, for being here.
Thank you, ma.
All right, and that's it on Good Morning Anambra show for today. We'd like to appreciate you so much for being here. Let's do this again tomorrow. Until then, bye for now.